This is Clint with Clint Allen Janisch Band and Charlie Herring, the bass player for Clint Allen Janisch Band, and you're listening to Garrett Smith podcast, and we're ready to do this thing.
Well, y'all, welcome to the podcast. Y'all have had kind of an exciting time. We were talking a little bit off air about how there's been some cancellations going on, but at the same time, we're all able to kind of get some sort of project moving one way or another. So tell us kind of what you've been up to lately, and just kind of tell us a little bit about how your band came together and how you got to where you are right now.
First off, the Corona, man, it is what it is. But you know, you want to take it seriously, but you still want to go play, and you're itching to play. And there was a time, probably six weeks, that we didn't even get together. So in that first time, a couple of weeks ago, it was like, breath of fresh air, you know. I guess they're releasing restrictions, so we'll get to play here pretty quick. But man, I'm a songwriter from way back. Been doing this for about 18 years, and that's what I guess consider myself a songwriter. But I've got a band right now, man, that's hotter than a rocket. And they're a hell of a backing band, and you know, we've been, before the coronavirus, we were hitting it pretty hard. We were hoping for 100 shows this year, and so now we're looking on, hopefully we'll get 50. We're going to try to end the year good and try to stay busy as we can. But yeah, these guys are from around here. Jeremy, he's from Gatesville, Texas. Charlie here, he's from Temple, Texas. Cooper Geisbauer, he's from Evant, Texas. He's our drummer. And of course me, I guess I claim Evant, Texas as well. But just some local guys that, you know, we've been at it pretty hard for 2 or 3 years now. So, you know, hard work pays off. That's what we're banking on. So.
Hard work does. Music doesn't always, but it gets there.
Yeah.
You know, truth be told, I always tell the audience how I came across the artist or how I was introduced to them and all that, but truthfully, I didn't know how to pronounce the event correctly, so I was just going to let you say it on your own before I butchered it for everyone.
yeah. Event, Texas, man. I moved there when I was 6, so I started, you know, first grade, so first or second grade there. It's one huge building for K through 12. I think we had 24 kids graduate with us. It was small, but I love it, man. I loved every minute of it.
Well, I can point to it on a map because I used to work in politics years ago, almost a decade ago, and one of the campaigns I worked on, the whole district was basically, a big congressional district from the southern part of Fort Worth all the way down to the north part of San Marcos, and then out some, about past Stephenville. And so really that district was half the places you just listed. So Event was in there, and I can tell you where it is. For those who speak Texan, it's out yonder west of Waco a little ways. But yeah, it's really nice area. I love Central Texas. I live in Temple myself, and it's just a really cool place to do music. I spent 3 years in Houston, and it was so hard to get your foot in the ground doing country music in a place like Houston. Whereas if you live in this area, you can't throw a rock without hitting an opportunity.
Yeah, no, true that. I lived in Houston for about 6 years, and I was born in Huntsville, so
okay.
My blood's in Southeast Texas, but I enjoyed Houston. But you're right. You're exactly right on that.
So I've actually gone the first thing I heard was your most recent album, but then after that I went back and listened to your first record that you did a few years ago, and what kind of amazed me was that the first thing I saw was the album cover, and I definitely knew it was in Port Aransas just from seeing it. And then the album was called Port A, and you had a song called Port Aransas, and I'm like, oh my, what's going on here? Because you got a guy like me whose most known song is a song called Port Aransas. I'm like, how many of us have Port Aransas songs?
You know, I get that a lot. Like, you know, and I think, oh man, I've heard this somewhere, or so I'll Google it. Like if I'm writing a song, if I write a line and I was like, man, I've heard this before, it's somebody's. You know, I worry, and but man, it happens a lot. It really does.
Oh yeah,
we're all, you know, kind of the same people. We write about a lot of the same stuff. So eventually, but I'll Google something real quick just to see if anybody's used it or if it was a name of a song, somewhere down the line. But yeah.
Well, I think yours came out before mine, so you can sue me. That's how we'll arrange this.
well, this talk's going a different direction then.
Well, it's funny. AJ Gell has a song called Rodeo, and I have a song called Rodeo, and he has another song he just came out with that has an intro that sounds like one of my rodeo songs. And so I said, hey, let's start a TMZ style rumor that you wrote an intro that was ripped off of my rodeo song because I ripped off the rodeo title from you. And then when Garth sues us, we'll just countersue him, and that's where we'll make our money.
Yeah. Just keep it in court.
Yep. But your recent album was actually a live album, and I thought it was pretty cool because, a lot of artists do that, but it's usually not early on, so to speak. And so when I listened to it, I was like, this actually turned out really good. And for anyone listening, it's called Live at Bare Bones BBQ. And the album cover looks like the whole band is stranded. They're all out hitchhiking. It's like you start off before you even click play. You've got the tone set, and it's pretty good. But yeah, one thing I've noticed about this album is on the Llano track, I don't know where Bare Bones BBQ is, but you could tell there's like a locality feel. People are cheering when you're talking about Llano, and the crowd was into it. You could hear that for sure. And I think it was the song Saint, where you're talking about the woman. She, every time you mention her not being a saint, you could just kind of hear people cheering in the background. So tell me about this album and why you chose to do a live album and kind of what the story was behind that.
So originally, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done a couple more CDs that nobody really knows about a long time ago. And one was with the band I was in called Southern Underground. So the guys, I have some young guys behind me, and they've, some of them are just starting out, and it's kind of like we're building together, and it's working out great. But, yeah, man, they have a lot of fun stuff, and as far as like being with a band and traveling. So all this is good, and I just figured it would be a cheaper way to get our music out, get my songs out. I'm a songwriter, nobody else is singing them, so I got to sing them myself, or we do. And so, man, it's an easy way, it's a cheaper way to get your songs out. I use Ditto. I don't know if I'm supposed to plug anybody on this thing or not, but it's they do everything for you. Within 10 days, your stuff's online, and so it's. I would tell younger artists out there, if they're listening, just save up a little bit of money, and you don't have to. Your album don't have to be perfect. It's just something that people can hear it somewhere, and that's why we did it. It's to be honest, it's cheaper. Our good friend Ronnie Honeycutt, man, he spent hours on it, and he recorded it and mastered it, and but it's going to help us. The guys are ecstatic; they love it. I think we've all listened to it 100 times. Trying to pick it apart. The songs are my newest ones. You ask a songwriter, what's your favorite song? And my reply is always my last one. Yeah. So it's I'm sure you can relate. But I probably wrote these since January. They're on the album. So we've been playing them, not very long, maybe December. No, that was back in November probably. And so I haven't written them very long, and most of them are just, I daydream a lot, so I make little short stories in my head as I'm driving, and just, I'm always thinking. So a lot of them are about that. Some of them are about, personal true stories with me or somebody that close to me. But I think all the songs came together. One of them was my dad's song. He's a songwriter himself, and
oh, cool.
And he wrote Part-Time Daddy for one of his buddies. His buddy, they were working in Houston Fire Department, and his buddy come up to him and said, "Man," he said, "my wife left me and she took my kids, and he said, I need a song. You got to write me a song. So my dad, being my dad, he went home and wrote this song called Part-Time Daddy, Part-Time Loser, Honky Tonk King, and a Full-Time Boozer. And he played it for him, and he said, no, man. He said, that's not the kind of song I want. He said, I want, he said, that's the truth, That's the truth, man. And so that song helped change that man's life. And I love playing it, but we put it on the album, and the album just represents us having fun, everyday life, That's pretty much what it represents. Don't you think, Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Well, I would say that it does a good job on... Yeah, it's a good time album. Like, it's not something anybody's going to have a bad time listening to. It sounds like something you want to get a cold beer and eat some barbecue while listening to.
Yeah, or back roading on a dirt road somewhere,
Yeah. You brought up Part-Time Daddy. I was going to bring that song up too because that one made me laugh out loud. I mean, I figured there was probably a backstory that shouldn't be laughed at, but at the same time, I was like, no, this sounds a lot like the She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft with an upbeat tune. Well, if we could play one of these for everyone here on the podcast, which one would you recommend up front?
You pick.
I'm going to have to go with 60 Days because I'm the bass player, and that's the one where I really get to cut up the most.
Awesome. Well, we will play that one here. This is 60 Days.
Well, the full moon's bright, and you stole the night. Walked up and knocked on your door, and without hesitation, you let me in, and my bags fell to the floor. Well, you kissed me on the cheek, put your arms around me, danced Jason Edie. Never been here before, never wanted much more than the songs and the good company. Hold on tight when you hold me tonight and tell me it's gonna be okay. And try to heal my heart till my wounds turn to scars. Get me through the next 60 days. Well, I said hold me for the next 60 days. Want me to go, and the odds are that I'll probably stay. All pretending to be something we're not, until all the hurt fades away. Hold on tight when you hold me tonight and tell me it's gonna be okay. And try to heal my heart till my wounds turn to scars. Get me through the next 60 days. I said hold me for the next 60 days. Done the same, just to nurse me back to myself. But won't you pick me up and play me like that dirty guitar? Pick me up, put me back on your shelf. Hold on tight when you hold me tonight and tell me it's gonna be okay. And try to heal my heart till my wounds turn to scars. Get me through the next 60 days. But I said hold me for the next 60 days. of our married life. She took that ring off her hand. Oh, we both did wrong. Oh, but you came along, rescued me once again. Hold on tight when you hold me tonight and tell me it's gonna be okay. And try to heal my heart till my wounds turn to scars. You get me through the next 60 days. Well, I said hold me for the next 60 days. Well, I said hold me for the next 60 days. Well, I said hold me for the next 60 days. Well, I said hold me for the next 60 days. Yeah.
60 days. So when you're writing these songs, you mentioned that most of them have backstories that are true stories or somebody else's true stories. Which of your songs did you say have the best backstories?
The best backstories are the truth, and the, you know, as songwriters, you're gonna write what you write. You shouldn't persuade your words for somebody or anything like that. You should, be honest and write what you write. And at that point, feelings don't matter, because that's the truth. And some people don't like to hear the truth. But it always seems to write the best songs. And if I had to pick, you're getting into the songwriting details, but man, which one? Saint, man. Saint was pretty much a true story. Yeah.
That one's definitely one of the catchier ones, I think. And I don't know if, sometimes when songs mean more, they come out better in that regard. Sometimes, not all the time, but that one is one that you think, okay, energy went into this one, and you could hear the crowd on the track buying into it.
Yeah, like, she, this girl, this guy that, kind of falls for this girl, and she pretty much had somebody else as well, and, but at the end of the day, she's out on social media, and the persona around town that she's, this great person, but deep down, she's not. She's like everybody else. And but every line in that song was true.
There's one in every town. I'll play that one here on the podcast, and we'll dedicate this to the saint or non-saint in your town. This is called Saint.
She gonna burn that boy like a prickly pear. Burn that boy real bad. She gonna burn that boy real good, I swear. Gonna burn that boy real bad. She gonna spend his money on all her pills and all her insecurities. She gonna ghost his ass when she gets done. And then she going home with me. Now then she going home with me. She acts like a saint. Everybody knows she ain't just the kind of girl that I need. Yeah, she used to be my type, Now I sing songs in spite. Sometimes I still want her company. Yeah. Thank you, dancer. She gonna break his heart like a fresh snap bean when he finally figures out that he don't know she's been texting me. Gonna break his heart, no doubt. She gonna turn it around and pin him down, but just like she did me. She gonna turn it around and tear him down. The poor old boy, it seems. That poor old boy, it seems. She acts like a saint. Everybody knows she ain't just the kind of girl that I need. Yeah, she used to be my type. Now I sing songs in spite, and sometimes I still want her company. Yeah, yeah. She acts like a saint. Everybody knows she ain't just the kind of girl that I need. Yeah, she used to be my type. Now all we do is fight, but sometimes I still want her company. Yeah. She acts like a saint, y'all. That's what I'm talking about.
So for your upcoming projects and plans and things like that, we talked about how bars are opening back up and we're kind of able to start scheduling things again. What are some of the things you want to accomplish next, and what can we expect out of the band?
We want to hit the road. At the end of the day, people have to see you. They have to hear you in order before they'll go and buy your stuff or tell people about you. So you have to, there's a 10,000 hour rule pretty much, unwritten rule when you text the music scene or any music scene, and you just got to bust your ass and get out there and chase the highway and be seen, be heard. And that's our goal. We all have full-time jobs, so we stay super busy. Like I said, we were trying for, 100 plus, 120 shows this year, and of course that didn't happen. But our goals are to be seen and to be heard more. I've got some new music, so there's a new album in the mix. So probably early next year. We might start a new album, but for the most part, our goal to end the rest of the year is to play music and play as much as we can.
Well, I think people will definitely be interested in hearing more music come out of this band, because that live album is definitely a good springboard, I think, for really building up the base. I think you'll get a lot of shows booked, especially when people have heard that album. So I think it's one of those things where it was the perfect album, especially for this area and this region, to really pick up some traction, at least in my opinion. Yeah. Now, my opinion's worth, so. A cup of coffee in some places, but but I mean, that's the impression it definitely gives off. And for one, am looking forward to you playing in Temple again because, unlike last time, I'll actually probably get to go catch that show.
Yeah,
and,
we're working on something with TW over there at O'Brien. So,
awesome.
I think we're playing the concert series June 26th out at the Temple Park somewhere.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be fun.
Definitely.
Hopefully it's not so hot.
Have to try to check that out. It's kind of interesting how that all works out. You know, for my focus was also getting an album out, and I was going to finish that up around April, but that was right when everything shut down, so I couldn't go record my last session. And then I looked at the calendar initially. I thought, man, I need to book more than just local acoustic shows. I need to tour around, get some more full band stuff going. Well, then everything got shut down, and I realized, it's a good thing I didn't book for April and May, because now I'm about to kind of warm back up with just the things I already had booked for June and July here in Belton and Temple. So it all kind of works out in the end. But sooner or later, you'll be playing those 100 shows, and I'll be doing the same thing. So we may have to do some shows together at some of those spots. Maybe get Jason on, get Jason to join us.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. That would be cool. Yeah, I like that.
Well, speaking of touring, what are some of your favorite venues and towns to perform?
We like traveling. Really, no matter where it's at, we like traveling. Our good friend, our road manager, and our sound guy has a bus that we take, and we take it everywhere. So we get the cool feeling when we jump off of it to a gig. So it doesn't matter where we play. We're excited to get there. Vernon, Texas is probably one of our favorite, venues. We've had so much fun there. The last few times we've gone there, it's about 4 or 5 hours away, but we have fun. We have fun getting there and playing and coming back. But we like to go down to Houston because we got some friends down there, and we take little fishing trips or whatever. So
I'm kind of impressed. I've never had somebody say Vernon, Texas as an answer before.
It's a small town.
It is. My mom grew up in Childress, Texas, so I had relatives that lived in Vernon for years. Well familiar with the town, but that's definitely a first on that answer.
Well, we've acquired some friends there, and it's just a fun time when we go there. It's just laid back. It's country as can be. It's rowdy. It's fun.
What are the best places to direct people to hear your music? If we could direct people to your pages, where would we send followers to hear your music for the first time?
iTunes, Spotify, that's Amazon. I think we're on like 20 different platforms, and I can't remember them all, but all the major platforms for sure. I'm starting to do some stuff on Twitter, but we stopped. I think we wanted to do a vinyl record for this live album, but I think we're going to save it for the next one, a studio album.
That'd be cool.
Make a couple of vinyls. A lot of my friends have record players, and so I think we're going to try to do a few of those too.
That's cool. Yeah, so definitely check that out, Clint Allen Janisch. And if you can't spell that based on what I just said out loud, just look at the screen, because if you're listening to this on YouTube, it's right there on the thumbnail. And I say that because of all things, I spelled your last name correctly the first time I wrote it down. I misspelled Allen. I put
the last name, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I was all proud of myself at first until I realized I got the easy part wrong. I was like, well, dang it.
Yeah, it's, I've always, my name, I'm proud of my name, and it goes way back, and my whole family's proud of her name, but it's hard to say and hard to remember, and it's not a music name, so I always was tempted to change my name or but I just stuck with it. I just added my middle name years ago, and I just stuck with it. So,
well, as somebody who's on the opposite end of the spectrum on commonality of names, I would say that's actually pretty cool musically to have a unique name. It helps you stand out if someone's searching for you, because if somebody just types in Smith, it's like, well,
if they can spell it,
Yeah, I mentioned that because I saw your Facebook post last week. You'd posted something about people getting names wrong. You're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I have a big 3 questions that I ask everybody that's on the show. And the first one is, if you could collaborate with anyone out there, who would it be?
Oh, Buddy Holly. I got 2. Buddy Holly and Willie Nelson.
Did you say Willie Nelson?
Yes.
That'd be awesome. Somebody, I forgot who it was. Somebody on an earlier episode said that, and they were like, "I need to make that happen because he's not getting any younger." I said, "I think he is. He's the ageless wonder."
Yeah.
He and Keith Richards were not afraid of coronavirus. I'll tell you that.
And there's so many more out there that are so awesome, but they, of course, they're more in the spotlight. But there's a lot of riders out there that nobody knows of that are amazing riders, and I'd love to collaborate with them too.
Yeah. Well, the second one of the 3 is, if you could headline any venue, where would you go play?
Billy Bob's. That's been my goal for a long time. But Billy Bob's are out there at Red Rock with the Braun brothers.
Oh, that'd be cool. Is that where they do the reunion show?
I don't know. I think so.
Because I think you're the first person who's answered with Billy Bob's, but I think you're about the 3rd who has said Red Rocks. And I thought, I need to see what all events go on there, because I've seen a million pictures of it, but I don't know what kind of annual events they have.
It just looks so cool, man, and the stories coming from there. It's just everybody's so chill, and it's just that's just one of the goals. Like, it's really cool though to look at it.
I really have to wonder about the acoustics in there. It looks like it would echo horribly, but if it's that popular of a venue, I mean, they've probably got it all figured out.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Well, the grand finale question is, what is the funniest or craziest story you could tell from your music career so far?
Oh man.
As I like to reiterate to people, it doesn't have to be the craziest one, just the craziest one you can tell. I'm gonna have to think a second. You know anything that we've done lately?
Well, I've only been playing. How long have I been playing with y'all? About a year. Yeah, I've been playing with y'all about a year. I've only recently started playing Texas country music. I guess about a year and a half ago. I would, honestly, I'm gonna have to give a double shout out to Vernon, Texas. If anybody's from Vernon listening, know that we love you guys. Every time we go there, we have the best time, and some of it's we can talk about, some of it we can't. But it's just always.
Last time the bus was packed.
Yeah,
we had creatures of all sorts on the bus.
That's one of those dangerous drives too, because there's literally nothing for miles between towns. It's like you occupy yourself with just the most ridiculous things after a while.
Yeah. We even back when, I mean, we did some crazy stuff, but none that I probably feel comfortable telling on a podcast. Oh Lord, you got my mind going now.
Well, I will add to that. I grew up in Amarillo, well, technically Canyon, and every time I'd go home from college or from anywhere else I've lived since then, I mean, it's you have to find ways to entertain yourself on that drive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a dog outside.
Oh. I thought y'all were driving, so I was like, is that a dog?
No, we're sitting outside my buddy's house. We're supposed to practice, but the electricity went off. We had a bad storm come through, so we're having Memorial Day practice / feast. So me and Charlie are sitting outside on the truck.
Well, if your stories would get you in trouble, I can substitute in and tell you one that might get me in trouble. I've never really publicized this one, but we had a rehearsal one time where the drummer was living in the storage unit. It was in Bryan, Texas, and he was living on a cot in a little storage unit, and we rehearsed in the storage place, and we were nowhere near ready for the show we had a few days later, and I had to drive back to Houston that next morning. Well, we're looking around, and this guy had a space heater and a couple of power strips, all the amps. Everything was basically coming out of 2 outlet spots, and It completely blew the power. So this band, there were 5 of us. We're just wandering around the storage complex, and eventually, the drummer, he's a Marine too, a former Marine. He's like, "Hey, I found a switch. I'm just gonna go for it." He flips the fuse. All the lights flip on in this whole complex, and the burglar alarms go off.
Wow.
I thought, okay, well, we'll just explain when they get here. Nope, they packed up their equipment. They're like, get in the car. So I kind of Homer Simpson backwards into the truck, and we vacated the premises.
Oh, gosh.
Saw the flashing lights whip into the place as we were in the distance. I thought, well, rehearsal's done.
How was the show?
Awful. It was memorable. I'll put it that way. It was down at a Firehouse Saloon in Houston, and it was some of the songs are an absolute train wreck.
Well, we did play it at I won't name the venue, but we played it on what was it, LBJ, Lake LBJ, and it went great. It was an acoustic show, and all the guys, we were going actually to Vernon the next day, so we were on the bus, and so we got to stay there, and well, everybody left, and they're like, "Man, the place is y'all's, just pick up after yourself. You want to go swimming, to go swimming." Well,
wow,
a few of us, they went swimming. They jumped in, and I was like, me and the drummer Cooper were like, I don't know, that's something just seemed funny about that water.
Hey, I swam in the water, and I'm still here today to tell you about it.
But so I said, no, we're not getting in. And so they swam, and we went on our merry way, played Vernon, and did some crazy shit in Vernon. But but
we loved Vernon.
Yeah, we got home, and I turned on the news, and it was like, be warned, attention, Lake, the shit plant, whatever you call it. Sorry for cussing, but
I've got a bleeper.
Lost like 500 gallons of human feces out of this pipe into this lake or whatever, right there where they were swimming, So yeah, I still make fun of them for that.
I think that's a worthy answer for craziest story. I'd like to tell people every band has at least a couple of Spinal Tap moments, and that one definitely sounds like it.
Spinal meningitis is what it sounds like.
That can be a song on the next record. Well, guys, I'm glad y'all came on here today, and definitely looking forward to promoting this album, sending it out to folks, and it's got a lot of good stuff on there. So y'all check out Clint Allen Janisch and check out this new live album they've put out. And if we could close this thing out with a song, which one would we pick?
Yeah, Oh My seems to be our kind of our single that we play a lot. Everybody likes it. We'll be playing it at Bare Bones June 6th. We're going to kick off the summer concert series there. But Oh My on the new album is probably the one that, sentimentally valued would be, kind of our song that we all agree upon. That was a true story. It was written in about 30 minutes. It's the good ones that are written, they're quick,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Cool. Well, we will listen to that one here, and we will close this out. Y'all, this has been the Clint Allen Janisch Hour, and this is Oh My.
Y'all can sing along if you want to. What it is that you see in me, and all I know is I love how you feel against my skin. I've never been this high, but I'm higher than these clouds. As long as you're here next to me, I ain't never coming back down. And I said, oh my, so dangerous, got me reaching for my gun. And I said, oh my, what the hell am I gonna do? If there ever is a day, if there ever is a day without you. You know I've been staring at your pretty face all night, and I saw you see me, see that look in your eyes. The first touch was surprising, no doubt mesmerizing, and I don't see what the fuss is about between you and me. And I said, oh my, what the hell have I done? You wasn't supposed to be so dangerous, got me reaching for my gun. And I said, oh my, what the hell am I gonna do? If there ever is a day, if there ever is a day without you. Oh, find your girl and you love on her right now. Hold her close as you dance into these tunes. Let the bad news flow down the river, never to see it again. I said, oh my, what the hell have I done? You wasn't supposed to be so dangerous, got me reaching for my gun. I said, oh my, and what the hell am I gonna do? If there ever is a day, oh if there ever is a day without you.